Greetings to all of you at ICPO. Greetings to all of you at the ICPO. Greetings to all of you at the ICPO. I am L. Greetings to all of you at the ICPO. I am L. 広がる闇の中交し合った革命のちぎり誰にも邪魔させるわけにはいかないから
I started voice acting when I was but a lad of 12 years old, I think, 12 or 11. I was in one of the first animated shows that were done up here in Vancouver. The challenges with doing ADR is that the artist has already sort of created the character, so it's kind of, in some respects, it's like the tail wagging the dog a bit. So you have to sort of come in with less preconceived notions, and you have to sort of react to what you're seeing in the moment far more. That can be a bit of a challenge.
He's so good. He's really natural. He's just a really good actor. And honestly, I think this may be the first time I've done ADR with him. And I know when we did the audition, we had a lot of good reads for L, reads that I was happy with, you know. But when he came in, it was just, oh yeah, that's the one.
The difficulty of this case lies in its unprecedented scope. And make no mistake, we're witnessing an atrocious act of mass murder, one that is unforgivable. This case cannot be solved without the full cooperation of the ICPO, that is, all of the police organizations you represent throughout the world. You need to make the decision to fully support the investigation at this meeting. Also, I require additional cooperation from Japan's National Police Agency. That was too slow.
A little bit. I think the pace could be a little tighter, but also much less pause after Unforgivable. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing. I think that would make up most of it.
Good.
He's definitely an interesting dude. He's got interesting aesthetic, and the fact that we've only seen him in this very sort of Spartan environment, this kind of padded cell, is very intriguing. Don't know what it means yet, but perhaps he has a dark side himself, you know.
But I assure you, L is real. I do exist. Now, try to kill me.
You know, as good as that was, I liked it when you were hitting the me. I think you're right about that.
Okay, thanks.
His instincts are almost all bang on. So, yeah, just sort of take him up, let him off the leash and let him run. He's really good.
Just watching the series, watching the original series is very helpful. Actually, almost indispensable. I've never had to do that before. I've never had the opportunity to do that before, but it was great to be able to just sort of get a bead on the original and see where all the ducks lined up in that show, within that context. And then you can depart from that as you need to. It's grotesque and kind of scary and sort of reminiscent of Spirited Away and some of these other great movies that I've seen, where it really does take a turn that is unexpected.
Humans are so much fun. Kira. I will hunt you down wherever you're hiding, and I will eliminate you. I am justice.
I think that was kind of bang on. I do find that voice actors are all different in how they approach it. There's some people, some voice actors who come into the booth and they're very animated when they do what they do. They jump at the mic, and you got to tell them to stand still. We're hearing the foot stomping and that sort of thing. I think he may be in that category. And then there's some who just come in and they just stand there. And yet, if you ignore that, just listen, they may, all the energy's in the voice. So it really depends on what works for the actor.
Whether the guilty party is an individual or a group, there's a strong possibility that they're Japanese. And even if they're not, we can be sure they're hiding in Japan.
I like it, but how is possibility for clarity? Keep things moving. Keep things fun, I guess, to some degree. Because fun, I find, most of the time means productive.
Sounds like he was afraid that Kira would find him.
Again? Yeah. It's actually about right.
Yeah, no, I guess the only question is do you like the way it comes in?
Yeah, actually, I think it sounds fine. I'm absolutely happy.
Great.
Excellent. The experiment was a success.
Super. Mike, you get 75 cents for that.
75 cents.
You need the engineer who's able to follow you. With Mike, he just knows when we're ready to move on. And actually, usually what happens, we do a take, and I'll start talking, and he can tell right away whether, okay, that's good, we're moving on, or, no, what we want to do is try to take that again and try, and meanwhile, while I'm talking, Mike is rewinding and starting again. And I think I'm subconsciously tailoring my direction to fit in the time it takes to stop, rewind, cue up. And I mean, it sounds kind of weird, but I mean, it's just, it really, you get going, and you can make it happen a lot quicker, which means you end up getting a better product. So it's really important to have a good team.
Kira, it seems you can kill people without having to be there in person. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't just witnessed it. Listen to me, Kira.
If you did indeed kill Lynd L. Taylor, the man who you just saw die on television, I should tell you that he was an inmate whose execution was scheduled for today.
Well, it's very imaginative and evocative, and original in its just basic concept. And there's a lot of tension, and it's sort of the classic cat and mouse. I mean, this kind of story has been told many times of the detective and the criminal, you know, and has been popular over the ages. So it obviously is resonating and touching on something that is common within people. The whole notion of taking justice into your own hands could be a very alluring one for a lot of people, particularly when you see the ineptitude with which some particular crusades have been handled in the world these days.
It's a darker show than a lot of other shows I've done, which isn't unique in itself, but I think it's unique in that there's not that simplification of good versus evil. Obviously, with Light, his intentions are good, but is he good? It's gray area. You know, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy?
It isn't quite clear who you should necessarily be rooting for. I mean, Light starts off with what seemingly very noble a design to rid the world of criminals and evil, and it becomes clear that he is getting a bit out of control with going a bit too far in that direction. And L is very shadowy and very mysterious still too. I mean, you can root for him, but he has seemingly his own set of issues and has a certain arrogance about him that I'm sure will be further explored, and we'll come to know him better. But at this stage, it seems sort of quite balanced between the two, and you don't really know who to root for. There's no clear hero or villain yet. And so I'm interested, even as an audience member, to know where that's going and in what direction.